Good morning. It's July 6th. It's a beautiful day. I hope everyone had a great 4th of July, kept all your fingers, all your toes, and every other body part. Today I wanted to talk to you about why I've chosen to run for sheriff. When I grew up, there were certain professions you were taught in school and certain things you learned about from your parents. They were considered service jobs. Firemen, obviously, police. Even the Postal Service was considered to be a service job at the time. And then you had politician. A politician wasn't considered a career when I grew up and when I was raised. A politician was a calling. It was something you felt compelled to do to better your community. That has changed, obviously, over the years. But the reason I'm running here is it's a calling. It's something I feel compelled to do. Not because it's something I necessarily want to do, but it's something that as I look at our sheriff's department, there needs to be drastic change from the way we have done business for the last 30 or 40 years. Number one, I'm going to represent the men and women of the sheriff's department because they are literally the unsung heroes of the day-to-day business of everything we do. And I think they've been marginalized. I think they've been ignored, and I think their needs, wants, and desires need to be placed first before everything else. Perfect example, we are at the same staffing levels, our minimum staffing levels for South Hill, and I won't include all the detachments and everything. We'll just talk about that because if you include it all, it's almost overwhelming. But just for South Hill, our minimum staffing levels have not changed in over 30 years. South Hill Patrol District is 100 square miles. For day shift, you have 7 deputies and a sergeant. For swing shift, you have 8 deputies, 2 sergeants, and for graveyard, you have 6 deputies and 1 sergeant. That's unacceptable in today's day and age. South Hill has doubled in size in the last 30 years, and our staffing levels have remained the same. You'll hear the other candidates talk about low morale and things along that line. We don't necessarily suffer from low morale. We suffer from a distrust in our leadership. And that comes at the administration level. And that brings up the number 2 reason I'm running is our current administration doesn't work. It is antiquated. They are stuck in how we've always done things is the answer we constantly get, and it doesn't work. Our staffing levels are horrendously short. Why? Because we won't change our recruiting and we won't change our hiring model. It needs to be fixed. We're broken in that area. Number 2, how many of you out there can tell me the names of the sheriff, the undersheriff, and the chiefs of staff? If you don't know who represents you, if you don't know who to turn to, then how are they accountable to you, the public? They're not. Visibility and transparency go hand in hand. If you don't have visibility, you don't have accountability. So if they're not accountable to you and they're not accountable to the deputies they work for, who is the administration accountable for? So those are kind of the reasons I'm running. We'll talk about what your other options are as we move forward. You'll have to bear with me, by the way. This is new to me, teach an old dog new tricks. So making my own video is a little strange to talk to yourself in a camera, but I'm doing the best I can. The website's up. You can reach me on Facebook, Mike Chapo for Sheriff. You have questions, you have things you want to ask, you want me to address issues, by all means, ask. I will answer every single question. And I think it's time we got to know one another. I hope you have a great weekend. Drink water, stay hydrated. It's going to be a hot one. And take care. We'll talk soon.